Many times in our lives, we score things according to many predictors. Buying a house, buying a car, a final grade for a student for the year, what we're going to do on Saturday night. In this case, we are going to be scoring the vendors according to 4 predictors based on how fraudulent they are. This is a made-up example. I'm going to assume that you've read the case. I do have this case note, and I will put a link to it in the description. Let's get busy. This is my data, and I need only to keep the 2015 and 2016 transactions. Let's do this. Sort, oldest to newest, and now I have all the 2013s and 14s first. Let's delete them. I will fast forward the video. I'm back. Delete. We now have only the 2015 and 2016 transactions. I don't need these fields, and I don't need these fields. This is good. I need 2 extra fields in here. I need an indicator for the year. So we will go year, and let's zoom this a bit. We go equals year of check date. I have the year. I also need another indicator for not Wednesday, and if it is a Wednesday, we're going to do a 0, but if it's not a Wednesday, we will do a 1. So we'll go equals if weekday of C2 is not equal to, and I do the less than greater than, is not equal to 4, then give me a 1, else give me a 0. And that tells me that is a Wednesday. I need to copy this down to the end, get the plus sign, swift left, double click, and it's all the way to the bottom. Let's check this field. There are 28,322 rows. Not Wednesday, you can see 3,598. It's time for a pivot, and this is going to be quite a big pivot. Insert. Pivot table. And we're good. It's going all the way, it's getting the right range. Vendor name is my row. The first thing I need is sum of amount, and we'll pull amount down there, but I'm going to do a little change, value field settings to sum. Just the word sum, make things a little nicer to see. I'm going to pull amount down again, and this time I want value field settings count, and I'm just going to call this count. We'll do OK. The next one is not on Wednesday. Bring this down as well, and we'll call this value field settings, and I'll call this sum of not Wednesday. OK. Almost done. I need the year, and I'm going to pull the year down to columns. Drop it, and everything opens up. And now I have 2015, 2016. I have the data for that, and I have the data for everything over here. Now I only need a few of these fields. Let's X this out here. I need the vendor name. I then want the total dollars for 2015. I want the total dollars for 2016. I want the count for 2016. And I want the not on Wednesday total for 2016. The name is in A6, equals A6. Watch, I type it out. The total for 2015 is in B6, equal B6. 2016 is in C6, equal C6. The count for 2016 is in E6, equal E6. And the count of not Wednesday for 2016, the sum and the count is the same thing. We've got it in G6. This is good. I now need to copy this to the end. And you can pull it down, or we can go copy, and I'm going to do F5, and I need it to go from L6 all the way down to P4037. I know that because I practiced ahead of time. Okay. Paste is Control V, and now I have everything there. Let's send this to a new sheet. Everything will be much neater, but now I want those headings as well. So I'm going to go back up here, and we will do F5 again. And now I want to go from L5 to P4037. There it is, and we'll do OK. Now I've highlighted everything. I need a new sheet, plus sign over there. Go back. Copy. We've got everything. Our new sheet. Paste. I knew, Control Z. I knew that I had to do this. Paste the values. Not just a paste the values. There we go. Column width, and we'll change this to 16. It's a nice number. Now I need to do a little extra work over here. I'm going to go percentage increase, because this is one of the variables I need, and I also need the not Wednesday percentage. Let's look at percentage increase first. Percentage increase from here to here. But the problem with calculating a percentage is you have to divide by the starting value, and sometimes this is 0, and we don't yet know how to divide by 0. I'm going to start with an if then, equals if. And this is given to you in the instructions. If B2, which is the starting value, equals 0, then show the percentage increase as 0. That is given in the instructions. Otherwise, calculate it normally. And it's going to be something like this. C2, which is 2016, minus B2, which is 2015, divided by the beginning value, which is B2. Now I have my increase as a proportion, but multiplied by 100 gives me the percentage. And now I have the percentage increase. And remember, the percentage increase can be negative, so it can go down. Plus sign, swift left, a double click, and it's all the way down. And we can see that this approximately tripled, which is a percentage increase of around 200%. This went down by quite a lot, minus 85%. Not on Wednesday percentage equals if, again, we cannot divide by 0. If D2, which is the count, equals 0, then the not on Wednesday percentage is 0. Otherwise, we're going to calculate it properly, which is the not on Wednesday, which is E2, divided by D2, the count for the year, and multiplied by 100. So I get the 1 out of 1 is 100. If I copy this down, 0 out of 2 is indeed 0. 1 out of 9 is indeed 11%. It calculated it correctly. We can do a little rounding here if you like. We can format this as number, and we'll leave it as 2, and that's just the format. Now for a little bit of heavy lifting. We need P1 score, and my caps are on. P1 score, and we need it all the way through to P4 score. Let's see what it does. And it didn't change this, so I have to do P2 score, backspace 3, backspace 4. Now, in order to understand my own case, I had to do a little diagram, and here we have P1 percentage increase. Calculate the percentage increase. A 0 in 2015 should be shown as 0%. If my increase is in this zone here, under 20, score it as a 0. If it's over 150, score it as a 0. If it's in this range, score it as a 1. If it's in this range, score it as a 0.5. Now the nice thing is, if I go into my if statement, Excel will read my if statement from left to right, and it'll do the commands. The first one it sees that applies, it'll apply it. So it's almost as if Excel reads from left to right. I'm going to start off by saying if it's less than 20 or greater than 150, score it as a 0. Then I will go in and say if it's in this range, score it as a 1, and then I'll say everything else, score it as a 0.5. Let's try this. Equals if. And now I'm going to use caps lock again. The command OR. OR means OR. If F2, here it is, the percentage increase. If F2 is less than 20, comma, because it's OR. F2 is greater than or equal to 150. You have to read the instructions carefully. Then score this as a 0. I'm back here, and I've just told it this bit here. Next, I'm going to tell it this. However, if that is not the case, then if F2 is less than 100, score it as a 1. And everything else, remember that other little range that's left over? Score it as a 0.5. And this will be good. This is correct. If I copy this down, the 190, it's too high, it's a 0. The minus 85 is low. Let's find one that really is in the zone. Why do I have to scroll so far down to get one in the zone? There it is, the 31. Greater than 20 or less than 100, it does get scored as a 1. P2. Use the 2016 total dollars. If it's under 50,000, 0. Over that, 0. So we'll do this first. Then if it's in this range, score it as a 1, and then I'll just say everything else, score it as a 0.5. And the logic is the same. Equals if. And again, it's OR. C2 less than 50,000, comma, this is OR. If either one of these are true, C2 greater than or equal to 250,000, then score it as a 0. Otherwise, if, again it's another if because there are two segments in the middle there. If C2 is less than 150,000, score it as a 1 And then the remainder part is it just scored as a 0.5. I have to close this properly, and we're good here. And we'll get this range right. This is very low, so it gets a 0. This is very high, it gets a 0, but this is in the zone there, it gets a 1. P3 is easier. Number of payments. 0, scored as a 0. More than 24, scored as a 0. Again, those are the two sides. I'm going to use an OR. Then we'll take one of these middle bits, score it as either 0.5 or 1, and then we say everything else is the other part, 0.5 or 1. The logic for this is the same. Equals if. In this case, I look at D, though, because the count is in D. If or D2 less than 1, I suppose it could only be 0. Could have put D2 equals 0. Less than 1, D2 greater than 24, score it as a 0. But then there's two inside segments as well. Otherwise, if D2 less than or equal to 5, then just watch. If the number is 0, Excel will, because it sees this first, it'll do this first, even though 0 is also applicable to this, but it saw this first, so it will do that command first. If D2 less than or equal to 5, score it as a 0. Otherwise, score it as a, D2 less than 5, score it as a 0.5. And everything else, score as a 1. We're good? I'm good. Let's just check again here. 1 should be scored as a 0.5. 5 should be scored as a 0.5. 1 is scored as 0.5. 9 was in that other range, scored as 0.1. This one here is too low, it gets scored as a 0. This one is the easier one. If it's under 20, score it as a 0. If it's in the other range, score it as a 1. So the if statement is much simpler. Equals if G2, which is where my not Wednesday is, if G2 is greater than or equal to 20, then score it as a 1. Otherwise, score it as a 0. We're good here. I can just copy this down. Finally, I need a composite score, and so this we could call final, and my caps lock is on, final. It is 0.5 times each of these. We could simplify it a little bit because it's 0.5 times everything, but let's just do it one by one. Equals 0.25 times that plus 0.25 times that plus 0.25 times that plus 0.25 times that. Final score, like a quiz show, final answer. And we're just checking as well. Yeah, this is a quarter times 1. It's pretty good. Let's see if we get anything that's more exciting. Let's have a look and see what happens here. It's 0.25 times 1. And let's see why we get the wrong answer there, because in the end here I need to do 0.25 times K1. I need a K in there, and I should have it as K2. Much better. Now I have 0.25 times all of these, H, I, J, K, and all K2. Glad I fixed that. Copy all the way down, And now we're going to check again. It's 0.25. There's a 1 there. It's correct. 0.25 there. We scored twice here, and that's a half. So things are looking good. I'm now going to make a copy of this. Move or copy. Create a copy. And here we have it again. Now I'm going to take the final score and go copy, paste values, because I'm going to sort on this. And why don't I take all these other, since I have my formulas, I'm going to take all of this as well, copy, paste values, and it's looking much better. I don't know what happened there. It's just blocking it. Now what I want to do is I want to score by this descending and then by total dollars descending, and let's see if I can get it right. I struggled when I practiced a little bit. Home, sort and filter, custom sort. Sort by final, largest to smallest. Add a level, sort by 2016, largest to smallest, and let's do OK, and this is good. All the 0.75s are here, and they're sorted by descending dollars. We could even change this a little bit. Format cells, make it nice and neat. Currency, we don't need to see the cents. We'll do OK. And now I can see I have all my 0.75s, but sorted descending. The top 20 would be all the way to row 21 because we have a heading. And now it says which one would we have a look at. I like things like services, and we can see services there, school solutions. Again, this is just an example. Services might be on my list, but again, just remember it's sorted by dollars descending, so we wouldn't want to do this one. These are all the same scores. Get the high dollars for the same scores. One other point, in the official solution in the solutions manual, I scored this, the P4 score depended on whether this Wednesday percentage was over 10%. But that is the official solution. This is the correct solution based on what the case said, and the case said 20% or more. The official solution has it as if that said 10% or more. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to do a little bit of editing, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.